we talk about data in classrooms, data in schools, data in instruction, what we're really talking about is data informed. We're not talking necessarily about data driven. If we talk about data driven, then there's really no reason to have an adult in the mix. Just look at the number and that's the answer. It's a formula. But as we all know, education is much more complex than that, as is a child. So when we talk about data use in an educational setting, we're really talking about data informed decision making, where it is one piece of the puzzle that helps us better understand the situation and helps us better act on the situation. Further, we're also talking about some conditions that must be in place for any of this to actually transpire. We're talking about a professional learning community, and that is absolutely the foundational practice in the school system. Otherwise, again, the data will be limited in terms of its usefulness to the educators, to the leader. It isn't actually used to inform the team. When we have a team approach and we have multiple lenses looking at that data, whether it's student performance or absenteeism or discipline incidents, whatever it may be, hopefully it's actually the intersection of all of those data points, right? Bringing them all together to get meaning from them. But we do that through a professional learning community. When we talk about the leadership needed to move a school system forward academically in terms of student outcomes, there are certain conditions that should be present to help you along the way. For example, you must have your vision and a clear mission with what that data is used for on your campus. When you unite the faculty around the why and where we're going with it, they're more readily apt to begin looking at how does that data help me achieve the vision of our school system? Do we have a clear vision of our school system? Do we know where we want to be? If we don't know where we're going to be, then how would I use the data to act on it to move forward? I don't know where I'm going. So if you have that shared vision and goals that you've set with your team, however large that team may be, whether it's a district, a campus, what have you, it helps unite the team around, and all of our research shows that can be a big difference maker. Further, we have to make sure that we've coached all of the team members to be inquiry based, to work on our questioning skills. What do we want to know? What do we want to know to be able to move forward? So when we look at an inquiry mindset, a questioning mindset in that professional learning community, it helps us understand what data we actually need. Most educational systems now are data rich. The question is, are they decision rich? Are they acting on it in a way that's meaningful? You can have all the data in the world and it can become essentially a junkyard. If you know what you're doing with it, then you know you're asking questions with it. And those questions are driving what data you're seeking out and looking for. Coupled with that, obviously, the data needs to be accessible and it needs to be of high quality. It truly needs to be above reproach. If your team doesn't trust your data, why would they take any action based on it? So questioning, shared vision, data accessible and quality, we must have that culture of urgency. When we talk about leadership at the campus level, the principal establishes the leadership for urgency. With that, I don't mean anxiety. I mean an urgency of action to make the vision possible because our students matter that much. So if we have a strong culture, a strong professional learning or collaborative team, then that team is really urgent about the data, answering the questions that they've posed. Further, they know and they have anxiety about it, but it's healthy anxiety. They are excited to get the data back, even when it's not the outcome they wanted. They're excited because it informs them about what to do next. How do I take action? All of that happens through a team approach at all levels with district support, campus leadership support, and then obviously the collaborative team support. You must also instill in that team empowerment to make actions happen. So distributed leadership in that sense, that the teams closest to the student are making the decision within the parameters you've defined autonomy, right? They're making the decisions in the moment and not having to come back and seek permission for each moment. We obviously want them to act on that instructional data set within the given parameters of perhaps the scope and sequence or what the expectations are for the course. So how do we form the right questions and take the action at the level closest to whatever the situation is? If it's about instruction, then it's that collaborative team that's planning and that's working to move all students forward in that grade level or in that subject. If it's about attendance, well, then it's about the campus-wide team that comes together for positive behaviors, interventions, and supports, and is looking at school-wide attendance and what can we do to make sure kids are present so that they are learning. They're not going to learn when they're not here. So how do we get them here, and how do we work as a team to formulate the questions we need to know so that we can put in the right supports to improve attendance at our campus? All of those things come together, and they're all founded in research. But when the principal leads and has all of those conditions that foster quality planning as a team, quality questioning as a team, and quality data use as a team, then we can make those informed decisions and we can take the action we need to be able to help students actualize all of the potential they have in them.